is Alex, and today I will teach you how to use Strace, a debugging tool used to trace system calls and signals. Strace is called by typing strace in the executable. In this case, we will be using ls-l. All this stuff is outputted to the terminal, and as you can see, you might be thinking, oh, how do I read all of this? But it's actually relatively simple, so let us scroll up. We see exec-ve, a system call that runs this function, ls, and here are the arguments. These accesses and opens are opening dependencies and libraries such as this that ls uses. This mmap stuff is memory allocation for ls. Scroll down. More opening of libraries and stuff. Memory, language. In this case, it's English because we're using English. Getting some information on files, more dependencies and libraries, memory stuff, and this chunk right here is all getting details about files, which is ls. All these details, which language to output, and then we would see the actual what's being outputted by ls-l itself. As you can see, it's relatively simple. Strace is primarily used to see which system calls are being called and how many of them. You might want to have this output to a text file for later reading, so we would type in strace -o, which is output, to a file. In this case, this output.text, then the argument, the executable. And as you can see, all of strace's outputs are in here. So let's see a list of system calls for strace. So let's clear this. Strace -c, then the executable ls-l. This gives us a list of of ls and its system calls. So you see the time it took based on percentage wise, the time it actually took for each system call, for the total of those system calls, then how many times it was called, and the number of times the system call has failed. This is very useful, since if a system call has a very large number, like 9,001 errors, then you would assume that that the system call is failing and that it's the source of all your problems. But since there's not really that many abnormal calls, it's fine. So let's look at open. Maybe you want to look at the opens since it failed a few times. So strace -e, then the system call, in this case open, then the executable, then you see all the opens. If you want to see a timestamp, we would type in strace -t, but since I want to see open right now, I'm still using -e. Open, see the time it took in real time. Not the time it took, a timestamp. But if we want to see the real time one, we type in strace -r, but we're still using open, so see the time it took for each system call to run. Clear this again. Strace by default does not follow its children. It only uses the parent process. If you want to check children, you type in strace -f, which would go to children. But we're going to run this on a file that's really easy to understand, which is hello. hello.cpp. So there's a problem in this. Let us run the file. It would output hello world, but what is this? It says goodbye child. The file was supposed to output hello world and goodbye child instantly, but it did not. Just close this and check what happens. So strace hello.cpp, the executable hello.out. Okay, we can see the parent process, but it did not go into the child. So we can assume that the problem's inside the child. Close this. Strace -f, since going to the child process isn't enabled by default. As we go here, we see here's the end of the parent process, and here's the child. And what is this? Nano sleep. I don't remember calling that. Is that why our program is failing? So let us clear all this. Open the file itself. And we can see that there's a sleep function which calls nano sleep. And if we close that, then compile again, then run, it prints out as we expected it to. So far we have been using strace on programs that aren't running, processes that aren't running, but say we want to use it on a process that's running, we would type in strace dash P and the PID, then yeah. So let's find the PID first. PS dash E grep Chrome, since I want to look for Chrome. Then we see all the PIDs, so we would type in strace dash P, the PID for Chrome. In this case I will be choosing 2679, and run that, and we see all the system calls called by the Chrome program. Let's end this. And that is the basic tutorial for strace. Good luck and have fun.